Good day, everyone. Doing a little short video here today out at Seminole Towne Center Mall in Sanford, Florida. This mall opened up in September of 1995. And after many years of decline, they finally announced last week that this mall would be closing permanently at the end of the month. We've had a lot of memories here over the years, so we're just going to take one last walk around, see what's left, maybe reminisce a little bit, say goodbye. As mentioned, this mall has been in a state of decline for many years now. I want to say even pre-COVID. They stopped having air conditioning in the mall for a good chunk of time. Stores had to provide their own internal air conditioning units. This was most recently a Mexican restaurant. It went out of business years ago. The doors had been broken here for a while. Once upon a time, we had a store on this side, a Mexican restaurant on this side. Over here, most recently, was like a weed provider. And here was Lids. Can go back to years ago when I used to get custom hats for the channel made. This is the store that I would go to. And you come up to the directory. I don't think it's very accurate these days. And it is basically a ghost town here. This was a jewelry store across the way. They've packed up. iFix is still here. This was a Hallmark store for the longest time. This was like a honey hole for all Christmas decorations. You can see across the way, everything with just closed signs. This was Finish Line. This was the honey hole of honey holes for sneaker drops. Because nobody came over here. We've got Vision Works. They left months ago. None of the escalators have worked in this mall for, I want to say, more than a year now. Dillard's is still here. What they did announce is that when the mall closes, they plan to renovate. The anchor stores like Dillard's and Dick's, etc. will continue to stay here. This is one of those rare stores that just never closed. Over here we had Champs, but this Champs, it looked bigger when there was stuff inside of it. This was most recently a video game store, and you can see they still have other locations open. Ironically, Daytona, which is also failing, but in better shape than here, and Altamont, which is still thriving. You have like shirts and shoes, still open. This jewelry store closed. This was K Jewelers. We actually bought a bunch of stuff in here. And over here, most recently, shoe store, historically a jewelry store. JCPenney's still here. Christmas is still happening. Here's Dr. Herbal. They have packed up. You know things are bad when the weed shop has closed up. This optical outlet's still around, and this is what I mean by the air conditioners, portable in the store. Sports Zone still exists. This was an electronics store, Brookstone, I believe. They had awesome massage chairs, headphones. This was a Sunglass Hut once upon a time. Then we come up to the food court. Across from the food court, this was Bath and Body Works. They only just closed up just after the Halloween stuff came out. But when you come into the food court area, all this stuff is gone. We used to come to Charlie's pretty often for chase steaks. These guys would actually know you by name. It was the same people that worked here forever. In the corner, I think that was a video game store in the past. I didn't realize that they even had a hot dog place here. But you have pizza in this area that's closed off, under repair. It's still Christmas. They had installed this Whiny Wench pub, this bar, years back. And this spot has been reused many times over the years. And this is what we got, like blinking lights. No air. Aeropostale. That's gone too. This was Lens Crafters. This is where I used to get my eyeglasses and eye exams every year or so. Gone. I think that was Buckle. I can't remember some of these. Gold King. Fine jewelry. The lights aren't even really on in the section of the mall down below. PacSun over here. I think most folks would probably tune into the video and say, what did you expect? You know, mall culture is kind of dead. No one shops in the mall, everyone's shopping online. I do largely agree with that sentiment. However, there are some malls here in Florida, at least in the Orlando area, that are thriving. Like I mentioned before, Altamont Mall, Florida Mall. Stores are packed in those areas. We've picked up a random area as we're walking along. Just a whole lot of empty. Here's iCustom. I want to say that they've had like 3 locations in this mall to date. Well, we made custom shirts here once upon a time. This was the pretzel place outside of Elevate. Elevate is staying here, and they're trying desperately on Facebook to let people know that they're not going anywhere. They're trying to rebrand to Elevate Orlando so that you don't get confused and think like they've closed also. This is most recently Lash and Brow, but once upon a time, I believe this was a real estate company that we had a friend that worked there. And we have Venetian Jewelry, where they are packing up. They got a bunch of boxes. This barbershop has been here for a good chunk of time, but they were another company that was not leaving. It didn't look like it. And all of this red here, red and black, this was a store, or they were multiple stores once upon a time. This is 2 floors. They converted all of this space to a gym, and then that gym went belly up. And I think that was kind of like the nail in the coffin here for this place. Because they were the first big, I think, Hail Mary pass, like if you're going to have mixed space and have a gym here, that was going to be it. Macy's closed down years ago. And over here, once upon a time, this was an awesome bookstore. And then most recently was like karate and mixed martial arts training place. And they still have stuff in here. And this is what's left in here. They used to have like an octagon type ring. I should also note that all of these escalators are like do not enter, and they haven't worked in probably more than a year.
Oh, it's funny because
but there's really no other way to go here. When you come downstairs, besides the Christmas trees that are still lit up, this My Little Town, once upon a time, was a really fantastic comic store. So when we used to do free comic book day, this is where we used to come. And this is where I used to get the bulk of my comics when I was collecting for a while. This is also where George Perez did a lot of his signings and free sketches and things like that too. And then they converted it to My Little Town, I want to say probably like almost 10 years ago. I also have to say there's so much dust and I think mold and stuff in here, it's really hard to breathe. L&K Jewelers.
oh, they moved
Yeah,
to
so
Altamont.
again, what I had said before about Altamont Mall is still thriving, and these guys are over there. They had like tattoo places over here too, which were crazy. Tattoos in a mall. This was Journeys once upon a time. We may have known people that worked here. This is the last time that this was open. This was Florida Man Toys, which couldn't have existed for too long because Journeys was here up until about a year ago. So the Irish place is still open, and this jewelry place is still open. Here's the tattoo place that I was talking about, but they've already cleaned out everything. And the rock shop that sold like, I want to say bootleg heavy metal shirts. This was most recently Spencer's. Frenzy Chick. VR Gaming, I want to say only had just opened up less than a year ago. Zoomies. Good Lord. Wow. There's Florida Man's Toys. Again, but closed again. And this is the Whiny Wench. Whiny Wench is one of the success stories of this mall, but had closed up probably almost a year ago. This is where we came to do our wine and painting class. We did a video about that. We painted the DeLorean, and they had wine samples or wine that you can get while you were doing it as well. But even at that time, this mall was in such disrepair that there was no way to get to the Whiny Wench except for coming in through the back door on the outside, which was super shady. This was a chocolate place once upon a time. So the Whiny Wench, actually, even going back years ago, that was Victoria's Secret. And that Whiny Wench used to be in that corner over there in a smaller store.
Yeah.
This most recently was used for like package wrapping, but this was a Boston Coffee.
Yeah, they still have the little coffee cup with the free Wi-Fi logo.
This was most recently Burlington Coat Factory. I can't remember the big store that was here in the past. But in this area, over the years, I mean, you had Santa meeting kids. They had like fashion shows for kids and all kinds of stuff. And
The ride-on little
yeah, they had like, Mary's right, I cut her off. But they had like little
ride-on
animals that you could ride on.
Yeah.
Jewelry store is still here. Oh, snipes. They're gone to resale sneakers. I think that's what they had there. And then there's just a lot of stuff. Books that they just left out here. The Thyroid Hack. Furniture store. Like, I know the mall is dying and just about dead. And rent must be super cheap for a lot of these guys to come in here and sell their stuff. But it's got to be a pain in the ass to set something up and then have to tear it down. This was H&M once upon a time, and then the last time I can remember this being busy was when they had Spirit Halloween here. But now it's like a furniture store in here. I believe this was Payless over here. And as seen on TV, we put a bunch of stuff here, like Slap Chop back in the day. Yeah. And now, it's so warm in here. Yeah, these escape games, they've been here for years now. They're still here for now. There's nothing in the Coke machine. By the way, if you thought about taking the elevator because the escalators weren't working, they literally tell you to go through JCPenney or Dillard's to be able to get upstairs. Just in case you didn't know, that's art. And inside JCPenney, ironically, we always thought that this store would be dead a lot sooner than the rest of the mall because they stopped using part of the store years back. Like that was all cut off over there. So just one last quick thing as we walk back upstairs again. All of this stuff that's sitting here, like all of these towels and everything that are blocked off, we came this way back in like July time period, and it was really badly raining outside, but we wanted to use the massage chairs. So we sat there, and the ceiling literally opened up. So you can see where the water was coming through over there. It's pretty much like a non-stop thing across all of the ceilings that are on this upper level here. There's many of the lights that go outside, like you can see all this glass. The water just comes right through. All right, so we're gonna head out. It is, you can hear, I don't know if you can hear, but it's like lots of reverb because it's just a giant echo here. They are going to keep like some of this space here because I think they want to use like a mixed use space with apartments or condos and stores,
offices.
And offices, and there's a Costco that's coming. I feel like there's a lot of stuff that is potentially going to happen, but I don't know how you work around still having these anchor stores still here in the middle of everything and what they do. But I want to say also that the sale of this place failed like 2, 3, 4 times already before this actually is going to happen. But for now, it's like one more here today, gone later today type thing. Although this mall did last almost 30 years. 1995.
Yeah.
We've been coming here ever since we moved here back in 2003, so it was always an alternative, and it used to be packed, especially around like Christmas time. But that's about it. Changes. Thanks a lot for coming along. Thank you very much for all of your likes, comments, and subscriptions. Treat others the way you want to be treated. Have a great night. Go Amazon, I guess.